Hail, Mother of mercy and of love, O Maria. Triumphal ye cherubim, sing with us, ye seraphim. Heaven and earth resound the hymn, Salve, Salve, Salve Regina. Our light for sweetness here below, O Maria, our hope in sorrow and in woe, O Maria. Triumphal ye cherubim, sing with us, ye seraphim. Heaven and earth resound the hymn, Salve, Salve, Salve Regina. Breath leaves us, O Maria, show us thy Son, Christ Jesus, O Maria. Triumphal ye cherubim, sing with us, ye seraphim. Heaven and earth resound the hymn, Salve, Salve, Salve.
Dear family and friends, welcome to this chapel of Peter Albert Funerals. We are here today to honor the memory of our beloved Margaret Mary Preiss. Before we start with the service, I would like to ask all of you to put your mobile phones on silence or turn them off. Usually you get somebody whose phone will start ringing soon. Somebody will need you soon, so please put your mobile phones on silence. Don't look at me, look at your phones. Yeah. This is your time, last chance before we start with the service to look at your mobile phones. There you go. Now I make you panic. If during the service anyone needs to go to the toilet or anything, we have one at the back, and also on the lounge we have one. Our staff will guide you if you need to go to the toilet. And we have a couple of eulogies and songs today. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to listen to a song called Jealous of the Angels. And if any of the grandchildren or children would like to write something still on the casket, this is your opportunity to write as we play the song. For the rest of us, we will be able to do it towards the end of the service. So thank you. Can we play the first song, please?
Didn't know today would be our last, or that I'd have to say goodbye to you so fast. I'm so numb I can't feel anymore. I'm praying you just walk back through that door and tell me that I was only dreaming, You're not really gone as long as I believe. There will be another angel around the throne tonight. Your love lives on inside of me, and I will hold on tight. It's not my place to question, only God knows why. I'm just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight. Always made my troubles feel so small, and you were always there to catch me when I'd fall. In a world where heroes come and go, well, God just took the only one I know. So I'll hold you as close as I can, longing for the day when I see your face again. But until then, God must need another angel around the throne tonight. Your love lives on inside of me, and I will hold on tight. It's not my place to question, only God knows why. I'm just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight, singing hallelujah. Just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight.
Thank you. Last, what is today, Monday? Last Friday, I was working in the office and we had a service here, and it was a religious service, so we have a priest. And they told me the family arrived and the priest wants to talk to you. So I panic. And I said, what happened with the priest? Is he going to tell me off or something? And I show up reception and Graham was there. I said, priest, not the priest. And then I just calm down. I'm like, whoo, everything is okay. I just saw that beautiful smile, like all calm. So I want to introduce Graham now. He's going to help us with the eulogy. And so if you would like to come here and read your passage. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for being here today, for your love, support towards all our family, and for acknowledging the special person Mum was. Some of you have travelled a long distance to be here. There are people from Broken Hill, the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, from Melbourne, and Ben, Marlene's son, his wife Rita, their two daughters Aria and Maddie, have travelled from China to be here today. If that doesn't show love, appreciation, and respect. I don't know what does. Thank you. Oh, it's okay. Before I begin telling some of Mum's story, I'll point out the significance of the pink frame sitting up on the coffin. Ben and his family gave this to Mum while she was in rehabilitation and before they went to China. They only moved there on the 6th of January this year. We were all able to load pictures and videos from our phones to the digital picture frame. This kept Mum up to date with the various events and happenings within the family. She would constantly watch to see what new images were on there. Across the globe, I don't think you know just how much pleasure this gave Mum. So a very big thank you. Okay, how do I do justice to a lady who lived for 98 years, having had so many experiences and chapters in her life? I'll try. Mum is dead, but she did a lot of living before that. Mum was born Margaret Mary Cooper on the 19th of January 1927 in Kadina. Her parents were Madeline and Jim Cooper. Madeline came from the sturdy McKinnon family stock. Mum had one brother, Roy, born 3 years after her, and later that same year that he was born, their father died. They then went to live with Grandma Stevens, who was Mum's grandmother. Prior to marrying for the second time to Samuel Stevens, she was a McKinnon. Also, for a while, they lived with Nana's sister, Mary. Nana married George Young in 1940. Nana was 33 and George was 46. Nana moved with George to the border fence near Cameron's Corner, leaving Mum and Roy to live back with Grandma Stevens. Mum and Roy joined Nana not long after Mum finished schooling, having just completed Year 7. Living at the border fence was no fun and she didn't really enjoy her time there. The only playmate she had was Roy. How isolated were they? Once every couple of weeks, Mum would ride a camel 20 miles to collect the post. This built her connection with camels. The isolation did come in useful when the war was on. There was little chance of a bomb being dropped on one small house right out in the middle of nowhere. Growing up, money was too tight to talk about, so backyard games was all they could afford. At an early age, Mum was fascinated with knitting, so to improvise, she used 2 nails and a piece of string to knit. At 10, she thought she was the luckiest person alive when Uncle Laurie, who later became her auntie's husband, he bought her a ball of wool and a pair of knitting needles. As she finished the ball of wool, Uncle Laurie would buy her another, and at the age of 10, she had knitted herself a jumper. As the years rolled on, the hobby of knitting followed her. Us children were often the beneficiaries of a new jumper. Growing up, money wasn't plentiful, but perhaps every few weeks her mum would give her 6pence, equivalent to 5 cents, to go with her brother to the cinema, watch a double feature, and even have 1 penny left over to buy them a lolly each. They were the days. Nowadays, I'm wondering how many movies we get to see for 5 cents. I'm guessing not too many. School days were tough. Once she was caught telling another girl she was a silly cow. The punishment was no recess for a week. One day, one of the teaching sisters fell over a school case and went arm over turkey down the aisle, and her dress and habit scattered all over her, but no one was allowed to laugh. The likely punishment from the sister overrode any frivolity. From that time on, no one could bring a case into the classroom. Another time, Roy had tripped over and was only capable of resting on a bench seat. He was moaning, but Mum was not given permission to see what was wrong with him. Later that day, after hobbling home and a trip to the doctor, they discovered he'd broken his leg. Tough? Kids today don't know what tough is. Even if they got killed back then, they were given an aspirin and told to walk it off. In her early years, Christmas was a big deal. The large family of aunties, uncles, cousins, brothers, sisters would gather at Grandma Stephen's place. A hot lunch was served in the hot kitchen, heated by the hot wood oven. But the pudding was a special treat, providing perhaps a sixpence and a threepence for each child, equivalent to about 8 cents. Kids, can you imagine having that much money to spend? Incredible. They were never showered with gifts. Mum searched her Christmas pillowcase one Christmas morning in the hope to score a rubber ball, which she desperately wished for. Alas, it was only an orange, which just had to do. Maybe next Christmas you spoil your children or grandchildren with an orange, and that's it. But perhaps you should duck and run. At the age of 16, she moved back to Adelaide, living with Grandma Stevens and beginning work at a glove factory. She loved going to dances, and it was here that she met Dad, whose actual name was Charles Sylvester, but better known as Vic. Back into Adelaide, Nana, Mum's mum, bought a house in Woodville West. This 3-bedroom house became the dwelling of Nana, George, 2 boarders, Mum, Dad, Marlene and myself. Yes, 8 of us. Mum had married Dad in November of 1949 and Marlene was born 11 months later. Married with 2 children, Mum left us with Nana so that she could go to work and earn enough to place a deposit of £900 on a home of her own. The home cost £3,420. Mum was determined to provide a stable address for her children. She didn't want us to live like she had and transient growing up. Paul, then Anne-Marie were born while living in the new family home at Balcombe Avenue, Seaton. So much was her love for us children that she would sacrifice things for herself to ensure she could pay for our private school fees. Her hope was that the private education would provide greater opportunities for us later on. Such is the love of a mother, certainly ours. A big social event was to have 2 friends come over for dinner on a Saturday evening. No restaurants, cinemas, dances or the like. This was all they could afford. As we grew up, Mum would then rise before 3:30 in the morning to earn some extra money working at Badenoch's. She was packing bakery goods for them. This was in order to buy such luxuries as a pair of stockings without holes in them, an ice cream for herself, and she bought one for each of us kids, and probably some more wool to knit with. With children off their hands, Mum and Dad did a fair bit of travelling, both within Australia and overseas. At the tender age of 60, Dad's health started to decline, and so holidays were put on hold. Dad died when he was 70. I had a thought the other day. Dad died in 1998, and Mum was 98 when she died. What does that mean? Probably not much, just to me an interesting coincidence. After Dad died, Marlene became even closer to Mum. They seemed more like sisters. Marlene would include her on nearly all her trips, whether that was cruising, trips to Bali or China. They spent a lot of time together. With such a strong bond formed between them that it was very cutting for Mum when Marlene died nearly 4 years ago. Marlene wasn't her only close friend, as she had many. She survived all her long-term girlfriends, several from school days, and then some over many years. As each year rolled on, they too took their last journeys. Many of you here today would consider yourself to be her friend, many of whom are relatives. Mum didn't try to make you her friend. She didn't need to. A gentle soul coming from a long line of gentle people before her, there was something about the McKinnon family that built them loving yet very resilient. At 90, Mum had a knee replacement and recovered very well. About 3 years later, she tripped over the carpet and broke her hip. Again, given her age, she recovered quite smartly. About 18 weeks ago, her right knee became locked with arthritis when she went to move in the kitchen. She slid down onto the kitchen floor, and in doing so, she had broken her ankle in 3 places. It was a compound fracture, so the broken bones pierced her skin. Being on blood thinners didn't help much with the bleeding. Fortunately, like when she had broken her hip, I was there to help. After 2 operations to repair the broken bones, she was then sent on to rehabilitation. During the 15 weeks in rehab, she would show signs of improvement, but the cumulative setbacks eventually took their toll. On Monday the 17th, I went in to visit Mum, but she wasn't in a room. Belinda had arrived earlier than me and went with her to have an x-ray. Once back in her room, she remarked that if she had to have one more x-ray, she would scream. She said she'd had enough and the constant setbacks were more than she could cope with. At just after 12 noon, she suffered an episode where her breathing became shallow and short. A press of the emergency button had doctors and nurses flooding the room. Such was their care. At 1 p.m, Mum was in an ambulance and was taken to the Flinders Medical Centre. On that Monday afternoon, I received a phone call from a cardiologist who reported that Mum wasn't doing too well. I didn't fully understand the extent of not too well, what it meant. I made my way in to see Mum, which was going to be for the last time. Paul, my brother, had been in with her and messaged to say she was declining quickly. On the way into the hospital, I was about 8 minutes away. Paul rang me to say not to hurry, as Mum had already died. I'm still coming to grips with the timeline. At 1 p.m, she was coherent and looked perhaps a little bit grey. Less than 4 hours later, she was dead.
Thank you, Graham. As we had in the eulogy, Paul was fortunate to be there. So Paul is now going to help us with the eulogy.
Thank you, Eric. Let me start with a question. No matter what age you are today, if I asked you, would you be happy to live a generally healthy and happy life, an active life, and live to the age of 98? What would be your answer? I would say yes. What if I asked you another question? Would you like your final moments to be peaceful, and would you like to pass away quickly? Who's going to put their hand up and say yes? I certainly would. Well, that's how it was for Mum. With that in mind, let's celebrate Mum living to the age of 98. Mum, she was my north, my south, my east, my west. Who remembers that line? This is a line from the movie 4 Weddings and a Funeral. I've watched that movie many times. My girls are now laughing their heads off. And it must be over 15 years since I last watched that movie. But whenever I heard that line, it always reminded me of our mum, our nana, our great nana. Mum was the guiding light that helped us navigate our lives. I want to share just a few of the many lessons I learned from my mum. These were not lessons that Mum would speak out loudly. Instead, they are the lessons I learned by observation from the way she lived her life. It's fair to say I've still got a long way to go to master those lessons. Lesson number 1, love is unconditional. No matter how much mischief or heartache I caused, Mum always loved me. I've proudly shared the following story so many times to so many people. It goes like this. My high school report card described me as a nuisance. Who would ever think a young lad like that would ever be a nuisance? Anyway, the school thought I was. So it's now parent-teacher night. Mum and I are sitting outside the principal's office. It's fair to say I'd been in that office a few times before. But on this occasion, I'm there with Mum, sitting there in my school shorts, cold winter's night, my knees are trembling, and I'm thinking, uh-oh, I'm really in trouble this time. When he read that report out saying Paul is a nuisance, Mum quickly stopped him in his tracks and said, before you go any further, no child is a nuisance. Yay, Mum! This was the most enjoyable moment of my school years. It probably also explains why I've never received an invitation to a school reunion. I searched for that report card on many occasions because I thought it's got to be a treasured memory for me, but I've never located it. I wonder if Mum took pleasure in putting it in the backyard incinerator. Lesson number 2, humility. Mum loved butterflies, and I consider her to be our butterfly. But did you know there's a little known fact about butterflies? They cannot see their own wings, yet we can see them and we can admire their beauty. Mum, our January butterfly, she was very humble, never a show-off, never seeking or wanting to be the centre of attention. Yet we could all see and admire her beauty just like the butterfly. If it's for Mum, tell her I'm busy. She's persistent, I know. Lesson number 3. Family before self. Mum lived for family, always keeping an eye on and wanting to know about everyone's welfare. She knew all the grandchildren and great-grandchildren's birthdays and was always organised with cards and a small gift for each of them. Mum was generous, sharing, caring. Her approach was to give without expecting anything in return. You don't demand love. Firstly, you give and show love to others, and they will in turn give it back to you, often in spades. Mum would go without for the benefit of her children. There are so many examples of how Mum would go without to help the family that if I tried to share a few more, I'd keep you here all day. But I too can recall Mum getting up at 3:30 a.m. to go to work in that bakery. In the first instance, riding there on her dark blue bike, Mum and I were reminiscing about this recently, and Mum said she never owned a bike. I thought, okay, here's one that I've conjured up. I'm sure Mum used to ride off on a blue bike at 3:30 in the morning. And then Mum said, I never owned a bike, but I did ride a bike. That was actually our sister Marlene's bike that she used to ride. Luckily, Mum's best friend Mari, who did drive, joined her at the bakery and would pick her up on those cold and early mornings. That was Mum's way of bringing a little bit more income into our household. Not to mention the various cakes she would bring home that took pride of place in my lunchbox. Lesson number 4, exercise. Because Mum never drove, she walked everywhere. I'm sure this added to her longevity. There was also yoga, exercise classes, line dancing twice a week, that even after her knee replacement at the age of 90, Mum couldn't wait to get back to. Mum would say she was lucky she could attend these classes. We would say you could attend them because you did. And who in their 90s doesn't get up every morning and do their squats and do their push-ups against the wall every day? As regular as clockwork, every morning, Mum would exercise for 45 minutes to an hour. Even in recent months, while in rehabilitation, she was keen to exercise. I often have a nervous moment when I use that word, my mum in rehabilitation. When I've said that to people, they said, was she really drinking at that age? I was watching her in the gym one day, and she said the weights they gave her weren't heavy enough. She wanted heavier weights on her biceps. She was so determined to rebuild her strength. Lesson number 5. Ageing can be enjoyable. A while back, we were talking about someone in their 70s who was unwell, and Mum was very concerned for them. I said, gee, Mum, they're young to be having such health problems. Mum agreed and said, I was having the time of my life in my 70s, and while I'm not there yet, it's a lesson for my 70s, and I've banked that lesson. Lesson number 6. As we get older, read more. Mum became an avid reader. It contributed to her broad knowledge and mental strength. When we were chatting about books one day, I proudly recommended a book that I'd only recently read, and it was titled Tuesdays with Maury, which contains some key lessons about living and dying. What was Mum's response when I told her about the book? Paul, I read it years ago, and as usual, she could remember the contents. In her time at the repat, her reading slipped away. I wondered, why was that? I gave Mum a book when she went in 4 months ago, but she never finished it. And it was a story of Sidney Kidman. Given her own time in the bush, I thought his story would resonate with her and it would help her fill in the time. But she never finished that book. It wasn't a lack of interest, it was actually a lack of time. Mum was surrounded by doctors, nurses, occupational therapists, carers and family visitors. Lesson number 7. Have honest and open conversations. Here's my girls having one on Christmas Day. We talked recently about how important it is to be honest. Mum said, if you fear telling someone the truth because you might hurt them, well, not telling them the truth will hurt them even more. Time with Mum was never just visits. Firstly, she would always inquire about everyone's welfare. But we would have free-ranging conversations, politics, movies, her reading, things we'd done, seen or heard. She'd even ask me about how my footy team went. But I've got to say, she always checked the score the night before. Mum loved a free-flowing chat. Open conversations, there were plenty. About 2 years ago, during one of our Sunday afternoon natters, we were, as usual, chatting about a whole range of topics. And she was telling me this story about men who put holes in condoms to get their partners pregnant. Now there's an open conversation with a 96-year-old mother. Lesson number 8, resilience. Graham's sharing of Mum's life story gave us an insight into her resilience. During her childhood and right through her adult life, there were many challenges, upsets and hurt along the way. I truly believe that the adversity Mum experienced built her inner strength. But Mum never complained or looked back. Complaining was never going to change things. It's never going to change what has already happened. Mum's approach was stand up and let's move forward. On the Thursday night in November when she fell, the surgeon said, we're going to operate. Graham and I were there talking to him and I said, I suppose you'll give her an epidural and a twilight anaesthetic, as they did with her hip a few years earlier. No, they were confident general anaesthetic would be fine. And it was. Then less than 48 hours later, they operated again, this time inserting this huge pin and screws into her ankle. And again, the operation requiring a general anaesthetic. Her recovery from both operations seemed a miracle in itself. Then on the day, there was a day when she was going to Flinders and we just thought she's having stitches taken out. But they discovered one of the screws had actually come loose and it was starting to penetrate her skin and get a bit feisty. Anyway, then and there they had to remove it. So they just took the screw out. Ouch. I guess Mum was only 97 then. Mum fought infections and the side effects of the various painkillers really wore her down. And despite a lifetime of resilience, her body was now tired. I would like to share a few memories. Mum was a very homely person. My early memories include Saturdays. Mum was always cooking cakes, cookies, pasties, sausage rolls, and sometimes homemade ice cream. There were the nights where we'd be watching TV. There was this background noise when we were watching TV as a family. 4 of us, Mum and Dad, all huddled around their little lounge. There was always this noise in the background. Click, 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 click. It was Mum, as always, knitting. She was always knitting a jumper or two, and I wish I still had. A few I wish I still had. Even though Mum never held a driver's licence, I've got a few car stories I'd like to share. 6 weeks before I was born, we went upside down in a car together. The car she was in rolled on the corner of Port and Woodville roads on a Friday night. Apart from some bruising, we were okay. Mum later perfected the art of going upside down. When she took up yoga, she learnt to do a headstand. And another car story. Around the age of 3 or 4, I fell out of the family car, head first into the bitumen. Poor Mum. It was the start of my many visits to the Queen Elizabeth emergency for me to be patched up. A childhood of accidents, broken arms, damaged limbs, and concussions resulted in Mum being called to emergency far too many times because Paul's hurt himself again. But Mum was always there. As a parent myself, I can't imagine how much worry my misadventures caused. In my adult years, Mum and I laughed over and over about my clumsiness, my accidents, and the heartache that I must have caused. It's time for a few thank yous. I'd like to send a huge thank you to the staff at Flinders Medical Centre and Vita Stars at the Repat. We often question the medical system, but they gave Mum high-level quality care and support. In a fitting way, over the past 4 months, Mum was getting the most attention she'd ever received in her life. I think they also enjoyed having Mum there. One evening, a nurse arrived to give Mum her pain medication, which, guess what? Mum declined. Seeing Mum declining to take a couple of Panadols, the nurse commented, "Oh, it's so good to have Margaret getting back to her normal self. Declining to take pain relief, yep, that was Mum." The nurse then went on to say, "We've all grown to love Margaret and we want to call her Nana." Mum said, "Well, I've got 6 grandchildren, 9 great-grandchildren, but you can call me Nana too." I also noticed a staff member one night delivering Mum's evening dinner. He started calling her Mum. Yes, she was the butterfly that people were attracted to. And while I'm thanking people, to my brother Graham, you have been by Mum's side for the past 15 years and her primary carer. You were there for her on her most recent fall, and without you being there, I doubt Mum would have survived. And today's memories would have been somewhat different. Mum would have not got to her 98 years without you alongside of her. Thank you. To my sister Amory and her daughter Belinda, I can't thank you enough for the incredible care and dedication you have had for Mum. Particularly over the past 4 months, rarely has a day gone by without you being with Mum. Belinda, with your own 4 children, I'm not sure how you managed to spend hours and hours with Mum almost daily, a huge thank you. With Mum's passing, I'm going to miss the simple things. I'll miss our conversations, our Sunday lunches at the pub, or just coffee and vanilla slices on a Sunday afternoon. Sundays will never be the same. Mum, you were loved and special. We are the luckiest children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. You have inspired us so much in the way you lived your life. It is a privilege to be your son. We're now going to listen to a soundtrack, January Butterfly.
You're more precious than a mountain that's made of gold, warmer than the summer sun in mid-July. You're a lover's dream and you're mine to hold. You're rarer than a January butterfly. There was a time I wondered what love was all about. Then I met you and wondered how it would all turn out. But your loving touched my heart and drove away the doubts. Now I wonder at the wonder of it all. Yes, I wonder at the wonder of it all. You're softer than the gentle breeze of a summer's eve, sweeter than the music of a baby's sigh. You're the happiness that was meant for me. You're rarer than a January butterfly. There was a time I wondered what love was all about. Then I met you and wondered how it would all turn out. But your loving touched my heart and drove away the doubts. Now I wonder at the wonder of it all. Yes, I wonder at the wonder of it
Thank you, Paul. Both of you had a beautiful eulogy. I didn't understand in your eulogy. Were you a naughty boy? You still are? Okay, you were not. You continued to be. Because I noticed because he gave you lots of lessons. Lesson. We have another eulogy, but Anne-Marie decided to record her eulogy. So I would like to invite all of you to look at the screen where we have her recording.
Today we're gathered to celebrate the life of my remarkable mum, a devoted and loving woman who always put her family first. She was brave, strong, positive, and always there for us, with a warm heart and unwavering support. Mum always told us and showed us that she truly, deeply loved us, making sure we felt her care every single day. Had an incredible memory and budgeting skills, always ensuring that we, her 4 children, never went without. Mum sacrificed her own needs so that we could have a wonderful home filled with warm, cooked meals and cosy surroundings. Mum was incredibly talented. Could knit anything from our jumpers and scarves to beanies and cardigans, making sure we were always presentable. Mum was also brilliant with her sewing machine. Most of our clothes were made by Mum's hands, crafted with love. Even my wedding dress over 42 years ago was made by her, and to this day I still proudly display it in my bedroom as a tribute to her love and skill. Mum was always there to listen, whether it was good news, bad news, or when we just needed someone to vent to. Her comforting presence without judgment was truly a gift. Mum never complained even when she wasn't feeling well, always putting others first. Mum used to say, well, no one can change what has happened or do anything about it, so she never saw the point in complaining or being negative. Mum never drove. She walked everywhere, rain or shine, pushing a trolley on wheels for grocery shopping. She relied on public transport to get around, often taking multiple buses across Adelaide to where she needed to go, making sure we all got to our important appointments, even when it meant catching connecting buses after school for things like dentist appointments. I still remember those trips. Sometimes it was late, it was cold, but Mum always made sure we were where we needed to be, never complaining, just doing what needed to be done. That was who she was, always putting us first. Mum started working at Badnock's Bakery on a 4 a.m. shift and still made it home in time to get me ready for primary school. Never having a push bike until Marlene got her driver's licence in a car, passed the bike on to Mum. That bike gave her newfound freedom, and when I started high school, was able to change her work shift to daytime and ride to work. I was lucky enough to do my school work experience in the office at Badnock's Bakery, where Mum worked, and for those 2 weeks we got to share morning tea together. Even better, morning tea was free and delicious cakes were provided. When I was 13, Mum discovered I'd been smoking because she vacuumed under my bed and found my ashtray. Even then, she didn't get angry. She just looked out for me, always guiding me with love. That same year, I brought home a puppy named Tuppence. Then I went out for the night, leaving Mum to take care of her. She fed and comforted the crying puppy, cleaned up after her and took care of everything, because that's just who she was. Later, when I married and moved to Brisbane, Mum looked after Tuppence as if she were her own, until Tuppence passed away at an old age. Lucky Tuppence, she had the best mum too. Mum's love was boundless. When she made steamed chicken for me, she suffered third-degree burns on her stomach, a scar she carried for the rest of her life, all because she was thinking of me. Mum, I am so deeply sorry for what happened, and I am forever grateful for your selfishness and care. Mum always said, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything. That was how she lived, with kindness, dignity and grace. And now, Mum, it's your turn to have fun, to laugh and to enjoy time with all your loved ones up there in heaven. Mum, you always took care of everyone, and your place in our hearts is irreplaceable. I miss you dearly. I am forever grateful for all your love and lessons you gave me. Mum, when we meet again, I will give you the biggest hug and never let go.
Please be ready for me, because I look forward to that moment with all my heart. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being my amazing mum. You are such a special, special lady. Mum, I love you so much.
Thank you, Graham, Paul, and Anne-Marie. You know, you had a beautiful mom. When we are young and children, a little bit older, teenagers, we don't realize all the sacrifices our parents do for us. You know, so many things. And as we grow older and we start having our own children, then we start like, wow, how did they do that? Being a parent is really tough. And I can see it now when the baby was crying at the last moment, oh, what are you going to do now? And how they kept, especially at that time, they kept their integrity, they worked hard, and they never gave up. And just continue showing us love, no matter how we were. And I'm sure she was thankful for everything all of you have done for her. When she was sick and everything, or when she was at home, you were always there. The three of you always with her. And that's a testament of the people you are, people that love, that care, and that you never abandon mom. And love, there's nothing, I think the love that a mom has is always one of the greatest. But there is one greater love that we have, and that is Nana's love. It goes a little bit beyond that. Because as parents, we always have to discipline our children, tell them off and things, you can't do this, like Paul all the time, give him lessons and lessons. But when we are grandparents, everything changes. It's just love, love and love and love. And like she said, if you don't have anything to say, don't say it. Just keep quiet, so I will stop talking. But also when we have so many feelings coming, it's very hard to say something. We just feel overwhelmed. So Belinda chose a song to express all the love that as grandchildren they have for her. And the song is a song for Nana, entitled Slipped Away. And I would like to invite you to look at the screen.
miss you so bad. I don't forget you. Oh, it's so sad. I hope you can hear me. I remember it clearly. The day you slipped away was the day I found it won't be the same. Oh,
We have now the great-grandchildren, Aria, Marie, and Zach.
Hello everyone, my name is Aria. I am here today to share a few words about Margaret Preiss, my great-grandmother that I knew as Nana. My Nana was one of the most caring, kind, and considerate people that I knew, and I would like to say that I knew her quite well, though the truth is I only knew her for a small portion of her life. I do not know much about her entire life or her childhood. However, that would never mean that I didn't love and care for her as much as all of you assembled here today, and I have to admit that my favorite memories of her are simply visiting Nana at her house, where we would talk and laugh and eat the biscuits from her biscuit jar. I hope that as we move forward, Nana will always stay in our hearts, never to be forgotten. Thank you for listening.
Hi, I'm Maddie, and I'm here to talk about my great-grandma, Nana Margaret. She is kind, caring, and she will always stay in our hearts. Even though she is gone, I think she is not alone. She is having a good time with Grandy way up in the sky. Thank you for listening.
Hi, my name is Zach. I love Nana very much and I'm really sad. I would do anything for her and I will miss her very much. What I love most about Nana is that she was there for me. She was very joyful, happy and very supportive. I'm going to miss visiting her and talking, listening to her stories. Love you, Nana. Thanks for your time.
And we have now Grace and Phoenix.
Hi everyone, if you don't know me, my name is Grace and I am the second oldest grandchild. I would just like to say a few words to Nana. I miss you so much. I remember when we used to visit you, you'd always say how much of a yapper I was because I never stopped talking. I will forever be grateful you made it to 98 and will forever cherish all the memories we had together. I love you.
Hello, I'm Phoenix. I'm the eldest great-grandchild of Nana. I'll forever be grateful for all the wonderful memories she has left us. On behalf of not only myself, but also my sister Grace, who just spoke, and my two younger brothers, Zarek and Harvey, we hope you are having a wonderful time and having a holiday in heaven. We will love and miss you forever.
I would like now to invite you to look at the screen where we have some photos of her life.
So this is who I am, and this is all I know, and I must choose to live for all that I can give, the spark that makes the power grow, and I will stand for my dream if I can. Symbol of my faith in who I am, but you are my only, and I must follow on the road that lies ahead. Now won't let my heart control my head. but you are my only. We don't say goodbye. We don't say goodbye. And I know what I've got to be. I make my journey through eternity. I keep the memory of you and me inside. Fulfill your destiny. It's there within the child. My story will never end. My fate is on the wind. The king of hearts, the troll curse away. We don't say goodbye. We don't say goodbye. I'll make them all remember me. 'Cause I have found a dream true. Every ounce of me must see it through. But you are my only. I'm sorry I don't have a role for love to play. Hand over my heart, I'll find my way. I will make them give to me. We don't say goodbye.
I like the last photo, not to see how can you put 98 years of age together, and it is hard, no? And then you put it in one image. It's a beautiful way of expressing a journey. When we are born until we go back to where we came from. I would like to invite all of you now to stand up. We are going to do the last part of this service called the committal. And if you feel aloud, so let us say together the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose on earth, a time to be born and a time to die. Here in this last act, in sorrow without fear, in love and appreciation, we commit her to her rest, earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. May her memory live eternally. May the love we share for one another gives us hope to live in peace. Please take a seat. On behalf of the family, I would like to thank all of you for being here today and having accompanied this family in this difficult time. And I can say, from what I heard, from what I read before, you had a beautiful mom, beautiful Nana, grandma, and what she told you in her life, during her life, please keep it there. You know, it might feel a little bit of loneliness that she's no longer there, and you might miss her, but she will always be part of your life. Wherever you go, in the next generation, even the baby who didn't have the pleasure to meet her, remember her, she will carry something of her, because she's family. Now, we have a final song. We're going to play a video, and as we play the video, I will invite all of you, the guests today, to come forward and write something on the casket. We have some markers there, so you can come, write something, and then after doing that, you can all move into the lounge, where we have some tea and coffee for all of you. And after that, I will ask you to wait a little bit after everybody passes, then it's your way to go there and join everyone else, where you can share more memories about her with the family. So thank you again for being here, and my condolences to all of you.
Spend all your time waiting for that second chance, for a break that would make it okay. There's always some reason to feel not good enough, and it's hard at the end of the day. I need some distraction. Oh, beautiful release. Memories seep from my veins. Let me be empty. Oh, weightless, and maybe I'll find some peace tonight. In the arms of the angel, fly away from here, from this dark, cold hotel room, and the endlessness that you fear. You are pulled from the wreckage of your silent reverie. You're in the arms of the angel. May you find some comfort here. So tired of the straight line, and everywhere you turn, there's vultures and thieves at your back. The storm keeps on twisting. Keep on building lies that you make up for all that you lack. It don't make no difference. Escape one last time. It's easier to believe in this sweet madness, all this glorious sadness that brings me to my knees. In the arms of the angel, fly away from here, from this dark, cold hotel room, and the endlessness that you fear. You are pulled from the wreckage of your silent reverie. In the arms of the angel, may you